go there for you, so you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, I've checked out of Chelsea Football Club. I feel nothing when watching them. I did against Newcastle United. I didn't feel anything. I knew they were going to lose, and they lost. And it was a normal day for me, no emotions, just going about my day. That was a good decision I took because I would have been all over the place. However, the show must still go on. As you know, Bulldozer TV is not just about Chelsea Football Club. It's about the love for the beautiful game, pre-match previews and post-match previews. And all the daily hot news are being brought to you on Bulldozer TV. It's the second leg of the Champions League. 6 English teams in the round of 16, and none of them were able to win a game in the first leg. Arsenal drew with Leverkusen. Chelsea got battered in PSG just because a dumb coach in the name of Liam Rosenthal, who doesn't deserve the Chelsea Football Club head coach position, but just because he was a member of Blue Co, he got it. And then he made the most obvious of error, putting in the second string goalkeeper in the name of Jorgensen. The game was in a balance 2-2, and Chelsea got battered 5-2 because of a stupid mistake from Jorgensen. Liverpool went to Istanbul and they were defeated by 1-0. Tottenham Hotspur also lost by 5-2 from a dumb decision by Igor Tudor to play a second string goalkeeper in the name of Kinski, who I believe his career is over now, made 2 grave errors, which led to Tottenham being defeated by 5-2. And then Manchester City against Real Madrid. What a bizarre game. Valverde getting his first hat-trick. They lost by 3-0. It seems like we are also witnessing the death of the Premier League, which has people who have excuses that is because they play a lot of games throughout the season, which I agree with it. They play a lot of games compared to all other leagues, the Spanish league, the Bundesliga, whatever. But then there is also another problem. The game has become so physical in the Premier League that they've lost the sense of playing football. We saw it in Europe. Liverpool trying to score corners, being physical in the opposition box, trying to foul the goalkeeper in order to score a goal. We saw Newcastle did the same thing a little bit against Barcelona, long throws and corners, and they've forgotten how to play football. They've forgotten how to play the beautiful game, and this is not going to last. If the Premier League and the PGMO keep on allowing stupid physicality, allowing players to be barging and shoving goalkeepers in the box, this is going to be the death of the Premier League because it wouldn't be exciting anymore. It's going to be boring and boring and boring. And then people are going to we see currently in Serie A where the clubs in Serie A are in shambles. Only Atlanta qualified for the round of 16 and they got battered by Bayern Munich. So we've seen it, and now no big player wants to stay in the Serie A. They are all moving to either the Premier League or the La Liga. So if the PGMO and the Premier League don't do anything about it, this is what is going to happen to the Premier League. Let's get back on track to the Champions League preview. As you know, tomorrow are 2 big games of the round of 16, which is Chelsea against PSG at Stamford Bridge and Man City against Real Madrid at the Etihad Stadium. Chelsea is going to win that game. Yes, they will have some pride. But the sad thing about it is that they are going to win, but they wouldn't qualify. Because there is no way they are going to score 3 unanswered goals to send the game into extra time. Chelsea is not going to score 3 unanswered goals. After we saw what happened against Newcastle, where the defense were at 6s and 7s, they were nowhere to be found. Like they were cut, like you have a hot knife cutting into a batter. It was so simple. Livramento gave a simple pass to Willock, and then he was just through on goal. There was nobody tracking him, nobody. 2 defenders, 4 and 5, were so wide apart that he just had to stand in the middle of them and then went through on goal. There is no way Chelsea is going to score 3 unanswered goals. And these players do not have the grit to grind up results. They do not have the grit to do such a thing. And we have a coach, a damn coach in the name of Liam Rosenau. We saw what he did at the Emirates Stadium, went in the Carabao Cup, when Chelsea were down by just by a goal. After they lost the first leg by 3-2, they were just down by a goal. And what did he do? The first 60 minutes, he played Liam Delap, the worst striker Chelsea have ever purchased. Higuain was better for Chelsea than Liam Delap. Morata was better for Chelsea than Liam Delap. Timo Werner was better for Chelsea than Liam Delap. He's the worst. I don't want to even see him in a Chelsea shirt. What a waste of signing. Just because it's English? So you bought this trash for £30 million. It's a cheap cost and all that. What the fuck was going on with this board? And this board made the same mistake by signing Garnacho when everybody with 2 eyes knew that Garnacho is not a Chelsea caliber of player. His standard is probably Tottenham Hotspur or let's say Nottingham Forest. But then he's 21, he costs 40 million, and then they just splash the money on him. These players and the board and the coach do not have the DNA to come back from 3 goals down. Chelsea is going to win, but then they are going to be kicked out of the Champions League round of 16. Now, Manchester City against Real Madrid. I believe Manchester City will also win the game. They are going to win the game by a 2-goal margin, which I believe. But then they are also not going to qualify. Real Madrid, with the caliber that they have and the name they've made for themselves in the Champions League, there is no way there's going to be a remontada at the Etihad Stadium. So just like there's no way there's going to be a remontada at the Stamford Bridge. So you have Chelsea and Man City being kicked out of the Champions League. And then you have Arsenal against Bayern Leverkusen, which I believe Arsenal is going to win. They are the only English team. I have total confidence in them to qualify to the quarterfinals and spare the blushes of the Premier League. Arsenal victory against Bayern Leverkusen. And then we have Atalanta against Bayern Munich, which we know the game was dead and buried in the first leg in Bergamo. Bayern Munich is going to trust Atalanta again, and Bayern Munich qualifies to the quarterfinals. Tottenham Hotspur against Atletico Madrid. This is a big game for Spurs. I don't believe they are going to win. I think it's going to be a draw because I don't see any way Tottenham can beat Atletico Madrid. They are dead and buried, Tottenham. They are fighting to stay in the Premier League. I believe they know they cannot qualify to the quarterfinals. I believe they are going to rest some players in order to focus on the Premier League. It will be a shame for them to be relegated to the Championship where it's so difficult and there is no guarantee they'll be back the following season. So I think it's going to be a draw or an Atletico Madrid win. Barcelona against Newcastle United. Newcastle were one of the teams in the English Premier League that played very well in the Champions League first leg of the round of 16. They had Barcelona on the ropes, but they couldn't take their chances. And Barcelona came out 1-1 draw. So this game, I believe there's no way Newcastle is going to beat Barcelona at the Camp Nou. There is no way. Barcelona to qualify, Barcelona to win, Barcelona to qualify to the quarterfinals. Liverpool Galatasaray. This is a game that is difficult to predict. It is very difficult to predict, honestly. And I do believe Liverpool should have enough to qualify to the quarterfinals. But from the way they are playing, they couldn't score an abysmal Spurs team at Anfield. They were all over the place. Their coach, Arne Slot, I don't know what has happened to him after his first season. It's going to be a tough game for Liverpool, but I think they should have enough to scrape through to the quarterfinals where they face PSG and then they lose horribly. Then we have Bodo Glimt against Sporting Lisbon, as we all know. Bodo Glimt trashes Sporting Lisbon 3-0 in the first leg, and I believe they are going to qualify to the quarterfinals. I already knew they were going to face Arsenal in the quarterfinals. as I stated in the Champions League preview first leg, and they are going to qualify to the quarterfinals. Maybe Sporting Lisbon might come away with a win, but Bodo Glimt qualifies to the quarterfinals. It is really a dire moment for English Premier League clubs, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. The physicality of the English Premier League is destroying them for playing beautiful football and competing in Europe when it matters. As you know, this is Bulldozer TV, and we are here to give you the previews and post-match analysis of the Champions League. Until then, cheers. Bye.